It's Friday, March 11th, and this is your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, bringing you the latest local news around southwestern Connecticut. Rob Adams joins us later with sports and weather, and of course, Donald Ang will take a look back on this day in history. But first, on to today's news. In Bridgeport, a woman was stabbed and her car was stolen this morning by a man who police believe also robbed a gas station on Thursday night. According to Hearst, Connecticut media, the woman was attacked on Woodlawn Avenue and her 2013 Toyota was taken by the suspect, who is known to police. The man was seen on surveillance video robbing the Citco gas station on Reservoir Avenue on Thursday night. The police request that anyone with information can contact detectives at 203-581-5246. And we're hearing this morning that Platt Technical High School in Milford is being evacuated again for the second day in a row because of an unspecified threat. State police said police dogs are en route to the school and the school administrators are evacuating the students. On Thursday, the school was evacuated over an unspecified threat and the school decided to send students home as the investigation continued. For updates, check milfordmirror.com. And Richfield police have arrested a 21-year-old local man in connection with burglaries last fall in the Mamanasco Road area. Police said that Edward Generico of Tacora Trail was charged with 3 counts of burglary, 3 counts of criminal mischief, and 5th-degree larceny, as well as 2 counts of 6th-degree larceny. Generico was taken into custody March 9th at his home based on a warrant. After an investigation, Ridgefield police detectives applied for the arrest warrant, which was approved in Danbury Superior Court. Generico was processed and released on a bond. He's scheduled to appear in court on March 23rd. Police could not immediately say whether more arrests are expected in that case, but the incident that was reported last November 4th, in which a male suspect allegedly forced his way into a Mamanasco Road residence armed with a knife, is still under investigation, according to Captain Jeffrey Kreitz. The burglary on Ledges Road that occurred last November 5th, in which a laptop computer was reported missing, is also still under investigation. And the search is on for a bear that killed a goat in Watertown, and a trap has been set up to lure the animal. NBC Connecticut reports that officials from the State Department of Energy and Environmental Protection said they responded to Northfield Road Thursday to investigate the death of a goat and saw that a bear had entered the fenced area and killed the goat. State Environmental Conservation Police hope that chocolate donuts, yes really, will attract this bear, according to the Waterbury Republican American. If the DEP catches a bear and determines that it is the same one that killed the goat, it could be euthanized. And Darien Superintendent Dr. Dan Brenner made recommendations toward a revised master plan for the schools at the Board of Education meeting on March 9th, and there were no shortage of eye-catching changes, according to the Darien Times. One major revision and recommendation is the addition of lights to the stadium at Darien High School. This will surely further stoke the flames of a conversation that has already proven to be quite controversial in the past. Dr. Brenner stressed that while he has been working in concert with the Darien Athletic Foundation, his recommendation was made completely independently, and the DAF did not twist his arm on the issue. He spoke at length about the responsibility and regulation that comes along with having those stadium lights. He said it makes sense to come up with sensible procedures and regulations about when the lights can be used. He said there can be discipline issues and sometimes bad things might happen, but we have to weigh everything. The members of the board met Dr. Brenner's recommendation with approval, as most shared the opinion that it was time that the matter was addressed. But you can get much more on that story at DarienTimes.com. And New Canaan High School students were shown what it's like to drive under the influence while test driving a golf cart around an obstacle course with impairment goggles on Thursday at Dunning Field. Students had options to their vision at different levels of impairment, from the lowest blood alcohol content level of 0.07 to the highest of 0.1 and 0.2. This allowed them to see the various levels of intoxication can impact their driving in several ways. Students will also get a chance today to try out seatbelt convincers and a rollover machine in order to experience the effects of slow speed impacts. Earlier in the week, New Canaan students were also educated on the negative impacts of distracted driving during a school-wide multimedia assembly. But you can get much more on that story at ncadvertiser.com. And according to the Milford Mirror, representatives of the 41st Annual Milford Oyster Festival Committee and the 2015 contribution recipients met at the Milford Chamber of Commerce recently for a presentation of charitable funds, which totaled almost $20,000. On Saturday, August 20th, the Milford Oyster Festival returns, but you can get more information on that at milfordoysterfestival.com. It's time to throw it over to Rob Adams for a look at the forecast. Rob?
All right, Kate, good morning, everyone. We've got a sunny day outside. Temperatures falling to around 57 later this afternoon. The wind is out of the northwest from 11 to 13, so certainly be mindful of that. Tonight, clear, low 34, wind out of the north from 5 to 7. To Saturday, sunny and 59 with a calm wind. That'll become southwest 5 to 8 in the morning. Saturday night, mostly clear and 41 for your low. To Sunday, partly sunny and 59. Monday, we've got rain in the forecast and only a high, and I say only, near 49, given that, we are heading into the middle of March, the Ides of March, of course. And to Tuesday, a chance of more rain with patchy fog, high 57. I'm trying to get you some more good news. Wednesday, mostly sunny and 61. Thursday, 57 as everyone goes green, of course. Right now around the region, New Canaan, you're at 57 degrees. Milford at 58, and right here in Shelton, 57 degrees, Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Rob. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Donald Ang takes a look back on this day in Rob has the latest sports update, and we have some more news coming up after this.
Darien Sports Shop is a unique store because it's a family store. A busy mom can come in with kids in tow and find everything she needs for them, and even find a dress for herself for Saturday night. And if she's in a rush, she can simply go home and order it from us that night. We'll deliver it the next day. The Darien Sports Shop. We're pretty on the outside and amazing on the inside. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut, or shop us online at dariensport.com.
Walter Stewart's Market in New Canaan is your time-saving local items to the freshest store. And stop in next door for a wine tasting, plus their personal hand. So stop in to Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street today, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
Had a sports injury that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist quickly. Their highly trained orthopedic professionals expertly treat you without an appointment. Skiing, fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk. Call 203-845-2070 or coastalorthoexpress.com. Find them on E.
What's happening up in Hartford and what's trending in the Nutmeg State?
Join Kate Czaplinski
And Josh Fisher
on CT Pulse live Wednesdays at 12:30 to find out.
We talk to the leaders and newsmakers while breaking down the stories you should be paying attention to.
With Smith, we take a humorous look at the news of the week. We talk about everything you were told you should avoid bringing up in polite company.
CT Pulse, Wednesdays at 12:30 on the HAN Network.
You are watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. Nearly 500,000 viewers enjoyed our broadcasts in the first 5 months. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Jessica Murrin, Advertising Director, at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
We're back on this Friday edition of Your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, and it's time to throw it to Donald Ang's Look Back on This Day in History. Check it out.
A silent tribute lights up a nation. 1802, it was on this date, according to Shakespeare, the characters Romeo and Juliet were married. The two of them would remain devoted to each other for the entire rest of their lives. 1708, Queen Anne withholds royal assent from the Scottish Militia Bill. That is, the last time a British monarch vetoes legislation passed by the House of Commons. The bill would have armed Scottish militia units, but opponents feared that the armed Scots would then become a threat to Britain itself. 1918, the first case of Spanish flu reported in the United States, spread by the cramped living conditions and rapid travel of large numbers of troops in World War I. Before it ended 2 years later, an estimated 500 million people had gotten sick, and between 50 million and 100 million would die. And finally, now we go to New York City, 2002, for this.
we didn't want to offend anyone or to make problems, make anything worse. And then when it finally went up, it's just the amazing thing was how everyone that looked at it seemed to see in it a different meaning and a different, it seemed to have such a personal connection with every single person, and it was their own private personal connection. So it's something about it's sort of blank enough and sort of anonymous enough that you can project onto it whatever meaning you want to. It's very open that way. It sort of receives whatever meaning people.
That was the Tribute in Light, originally run as a temporary tribute from March 11th to April 14th, 2002. It consisted of 88 searchlights, each 7,000 watts, pointing skyward. The lights are not at the World Trade Center Memorial site. They are a few blocks up on top of an MTA garage. The tribute is produced annually by the Municipal Art Society of New York. The electricity used costs about $1,600 a day. The lights are visible from 60 miles away, and they actually have to be switched off periodically because the light beams trap migratory birds inside them. Who knew? The Tribute in Light, World Trade Center Memorial, debuts on this day, 2002. That is your look back in history, and I am Donna Ling.
Thanks, as always, to Don. It's now time to throw it back to Rob for a Nutmeg Sports Update. Rob?
Kate, thanks once again. The Ridgefield Tigers have caught a little lightning in a bottle. The 22nd seeded Tigers surprised number 6 Trumbull last night, 48-45 on the road in the second round of the Class XXL boys basketball tournament. It was a close game all night, with Ridgefield opening up a 7-point with an 8-0 run. Chase Levesque hit 2 free throws down the stretch, and the Tigers double-teamed FCAC Player of the Year Jack Moore to hold on for the win. Next up for the Cats is Hill House on Monday. The 3rd-seeded Academics beat East Catholic. As we can take a look at the scoreboard from last night, a 20-point win in last year's championship rematch played last night, of course. Fairfield Prep 67-47. Crosby knocked off Kennedy. The Weaver Beavers take care of the Greenwich Cardinals, ending the Cardinals season, and Simsbury over Ledyard. As we remain in Class XXL, Danbury a 9-point win over McMahon in an all-FCAC matchup. Wilbur Cross over Glastonbury. There's Hill House taking care of East Hartford, and Ridgefield over Trumbull by 3. Let's move on now to Class M at Granby, where the Bears came back from 17 down to force overtime with St. Joseph. Eventually the game went to double OT, and we have video courtesy of Kurt Field here as junior TJ DiSabella gets the ball down 1, bang! With 3 seconds left, the Bears end the Cadets season 84-82. Also, Notre Dame of Fairfield beat Ansonia 68-63. Some other winners from Class M: it was Bloomfield, Cromwell. It was Nonawag, Northwestern. Excuse me, let me reread that. Abbott Tech with a win, Sacred Heart. I said Notre Dame of Fairfield, Bacon Academy, Northwest Catholic, Cromwell, Bloomfield, Wilbur Cross. Those are your winners. Okay, we move on now and get back to some other stuff like boys ice hockey. And how about the job done by Staples West and Shelton? They are on their way to the Yale Whale. Staples West and Shelton winning 5-3. Goals for Ian Offenberg, RJ Gupta, Jimmy Byrne, Jesse Greenspun, and Sam New. NFI over BCR 1-0. West Hill Stamford with a 5-2 win as well, all over Hall Southington, and Woodstock knocks off Housatonic Northwestern 6-1. Setting up the showdowns, of course, at the Ingalls Rink. NFI will play West Hill Stamford on that would be on March 15th, and Woodstock Academy up against Staples West and Shelton. You actually have it in play for an all FCAC D3 final. We have the all FCAC hockey team that has just come across fresh out of the oven, as you might say. The forwards for the first team are Jake Kirby of Darien, Jake Fuss of Fairfield, and Nick Rich from West Hill Stamford. Defensemen are Sam Knowlton from Darien, Colin Kelly of Greenwich, and Will Gilbert of St. Joseph. The goalies, Mike Grace of Fairfield and Nick Bizzuto of the Greenwich Cardinals. Second team, Casey Cunningham from Greenwich, as well as Michael Mosian, Brady Jensen of Trumbull, and Will Peters from Ridgefield are the forwards. Defensemen, Scott Voigt from Darien, James Francis and Drew Morris from the New Canaan Rams, Daniel Bernard of Trinity Catholic, and the goalies, David Voigt of Darien and Ryan Wilson of St. Joseph. To the schedule tonight, plenty going on in Class L, nothing truly local. To Class S we go. There you've got you've got Immaculate in Westbrook is really the one, Immaculate of Danbury is the one kind of true Fairfield County school taking part. And then in girls basketball, Class LL Greenwich and E.O. Smith play at Sheehan tonight at 7 o'clock. South Windsor is up against Stamford at Kennedy. Enfield in Class M is taking on Notre Dame of Fairfield, that game at Berlin. And you've got Fairfield Ward Ludlow taking on Cheshire at the Northford Ice Pavilion in D2 ice hockey. So once again, the state keeping us busy. We'll have plenty more on it on Nutmeg Sports on Monday, of course, but keep an eye on it over the weekend. Greenwich, the Notre Dames are playing tomorrow, so there's lots of great action going on around the state, and a lot of it local, but we're a small state anyway, so it's all kind of local. With sports, I'm Rob Adams. Kate, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Rob. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to be taking a look at the top stories across the HAN network this week. We also have a special performance to share that happened in studio yesterday. That's coming up on your coffee break after this.
I really wanted something that felt like a home. Coming from a big house, I wanted the construction is incredible, whether it's the floors, the fireplace, the moldings, the lighting. It's as peaceful as my home was in the middle of the woods. It feels like a house. It does not feel like a condo or a townhome. I feel like I'm in my house.
Are you hoping winter is finally in our rearview mirror? Can't wait for the air and water temperatures to start rising? Well, if the answer is yes, you need to get over to Darien or Westport and stop by the Dock Shop, where it's always summer. Both shops are being stocked with lots of new merchandise, including fishing tackle, marine electronics, boating supplies, and more. But remember, the Dock Shop isn't your average tackle shop. At the Dock Shop, you'll also find the finest selection of nautical apparel, jewelry, home decor, and gifts in New England. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, and 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport. Online at dockshop.com.
Find over 1,000 special stories at Hospital for Special Surgery. Go to hss.edu/backinthegame.
I was jogging 5 months after my cartilage tear.
And playing grandma 4 weeks after hip replacement.
One special hospital, 1,000 special stories. See Connecticut patients at hss.edu/CT.
When it comes to local entertainment, we've got it all.
From movies, local artists, etiquette, and more.
Watch HAN Arts and Leisure every Thursday at 2 on the HAN Network.
I'm Denise DiGregoli, the host of The Drive on the HAN Network. Join me Tuesdays for some motivational, intelligent talk with a little humor as we visit with people who live their lives mindfully. Tune in to The Drive live on Tuesdays, 12:30, here on the HAN Network.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter, and I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN Network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
We're back on this Friday edition of Your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, and before the weekend arrives, we're going to take a look at the top stories that grabbed readers' attention this week across all of our HAN Network community websites. First, family and friends are mourning Weston native Victoria McGrath, who nearly 3 years ago survived the Boston Marathon bombing and died in a car crash last week overseas. Fellow Northeastern University student Priscilla Perez Torres was also killed in the crash in Dubai. McGrath, the daughter of James and Jill McGrath, was a Weston High School graduate and was among the many spectators hurt during the explosions at the finish line of the Boston Marathon on April 15, 2000. Serious leg injuries. The image of a bleeding McGrath being carried to a medical tent by a firefighter became an iconic photo of the marathon bombings. Her family spoke this week of her passion for community service, especially helping veterans find jobs, but you can get more on her life at thewestonforum.com. And the Trumbull community is reeling in grief this week after 2 tragic deaths of young men. Police say that 27-year-old Nicholas Sicilian died from injuries he sustained in an accident that happened around 10:30 p.m. on Pumpkin Hill Road last Friday morning. According to a report, the 2007 Trumbull High graduate was found lying next to a silver SUV that had come to a rest in the yard of a residence on Pumpkin Hill Road. The Trumbull Police Traffic Division and Detective Bureau continue to investigate that accident. And the second tragic death happened just 2 days later. On Sunday, a drunk driver from New Haven struck and killed Trumbull resident Vincent Pacella in Milford. The report said that the 24-year-old Pacella was walking eastbound on Bridgeport Avenue in Milford near Berwyn Street and was attempting to cross the street when he was hit by a car around 2 in the morning. According to police, 46-year-old Hector Frias and Gomas was taken into custody and charged with driving under the influence. He was released on bond and is scheduled to appear in court on March 31st. Milford police are still investigating that crash and asking anyone with information to contact them at 203-878-5244. And another story that grabbed a lot of attention this week involved a Stanford woman being banned from the Darien Library following an outburst on March 3rd. Darien officers were dispatched to the neighboring library at about 4:30 in the afternoon after library staff reported a disruptive patron. 50-year-old Megan Otis Switzer had been issued a 30-day ban from the library after shouting at employees earlier that day. However, when notified, Otis Switzer allegedly launched into a profanity-laden outburst and refused multiple requests to leave the premises. According to police, Otis Switzer claimed the library did not have the right to ban her, but when told by police that they could indeed issue the ban, she allegedly told officers that they did the problem. She was informed that if she returned to the library, she would be arrested for criminal trespassing. And while checking Otis Switzer's record, police determined that she had 2 outstanding warrants for failure to. The Stanford resident was taken into custody for breach of peace and was held until her March 7th court date. And in some happier news, many were interested to hear that a Milford athlete has inked a deal with the Mets. As an all-league catcher for the Foreign High baseball team, Joe Zangi spent his scholastic career sending baseballs over the fence. Now, after advancing on to play in college and with his professional career set to get underway, Zangi will be the guy. In late February, Zangi, no longer a slugging catcher, but currently a 6'2", 230-pound starting pitcher, signed a free agent contract with of the Mets spring training headquarters to embark on his pro career. But you can read more on Mike Suppy's story on Zangi at milfordmirror.com. And finally, the FCAC winter season officially wrapped up last Saturday when Greenwich beat St. Joseph to win the boys ice hockey championship. But the state tournaments are in full swing, featuring many of the FCAC athletes that we've been covering throughout the season. The HAN Network sports editors and broadcasters have nominated 19 male and female athletes for Winter Week 12 of the HAN FCAC Athletes of the Week. You can check out the nominees and vote for your male and female picks on HAN.network. And of course, Rob and Don will be announcing those winners on Monday on Nutmeg Sports at 2. And speaking of Rob, we're going to throw it over to him for one final forecast.
Yes, indeed. In fact, I did nominate a couple of those out there, so good luck to all the nominees. I won't tell you who I nominated. We can talk about that on Nutmeg Sports next week. But it's a sunny day. Who are those Mets, by the way? I think I've heard of them. Sunny day. Temperatures falling to around 57 by 5. Tonight, clear and a low 34. Saturday, mostly clear and 41 for Saturday night. Sunday, partly sunny, high near 59. To Monday, rain, clouds, 49 for your high. And Tuesday, more rain, now patchy fog in the mix, and otherwise a mostly cloudy day with a high near 57. 61 for Wednesday and 57 for Thursday. Ridgefield, you have 54. Milford, you're at 57. And right here in Shelton, 58 degrees. Kate, enjoy your day, enjoy your weekend. Although I won't be around for it. Unified basketball over at Fairfield Ludlow, Monday at 3.
Oh, great. All right. Thanks, Rob. Well, that is going to do it for your coffee break, but we're going to take it out with a special live play. Steve and the crew were treated to a live performance by Eric Jacobson of the Greater Bridgeport Symphony. Jacobson, who is the director and conductor of the symphony, is also a renowned cellist, and his performance illustrated some themes in Mahler's Fifth Symphony, which is a preview for this weekend's show. You can get more information at out and have a great weekend.